Okay. Uh, Fourth chapter, fourth lecture, and today we are going to discuss work centers. This is the SPRO configuration pathway for work centers, where we will be defining control key, and there is another configuration path for routing that goes through routing to define control keys. Now, in control keys, what in work center and routing, they are the same concept. Like the material master can be defined multiple ways, the same ways for control keys. Now, what are control keys? Let's see that first before we actually go for our configuration. Now, control keys basically these are different phases of your production, and these can be different as per the industry. Now, for example, we have shift planning here, master recipe, then we have scheduling, capitalization, costing, recipe process order. For various processes and industry, of course, we can define the control keys. Now, control keys have controls, like, for example, we have this in-house production. For that, the controls that we need are detailed capitalization requirements or capacity requirements. Then we have scheduling. So scheduling is part of the production. We need print confirmations for process orders, for work orders that get processed through the work centers. And of course, those can be part of the costing as well. Work centers, we can also define work center categories. We'll see that after this presentation is over. In categories, of course, we can define various operations like the machine group, labor group, project management, processing unit, all of these. And of course, for example, if we take machine, in machine, we have inspection procedures, we have maintenance task list for to maintain the machine before the production and post production. Then we have routings that will go through and define how the machine will operate for a definite production order, process order. Sometimes the machine will work and operate at a different level, at different speeds for various process orders. And the process orders can be different. For example, if a machine has 20 processes, like embroidery machine, it has many processes, out of which your business requirement is that you are producing embroidery which is simple for occasions, for seasons, and there are like 300 designs for embroidery, but you actually work with 20 embroidery designs. So the routings for 20 will be different from that of 300 embroidery patterns. And we'll also see how fields in work centers will be mandated. That we'll also see as well. And we'll create a work center also. And work center is created through this T code CR01. There are different fields in a work center, and we can make these fields optional, mandatory, or hidden. Okay, now we'll start our configuration. PRO, reference IMG, Production Basic Data Work Centers. Production, basic data, work center, routing data, define control key. Routing data setup, define control key. Over here, we can see there are various control keys: routing, in-house production, auto goods, receipt, Process manufacturing. Let's see what is process manufacturing PI01. What's that defined for? For scheduling detailed capacity requirements, automatic good receipt, time tickets, sprint confirmation. Okay. So we can create our own as well. Compatible units, no costing. PM07. No costing. The costing is not allowed over here. So we have various control keys. Yeah. Service, external services. We have costing, but external services have no other control. Okay. Now, production basic data routing. Production basic data routing. First, we access control keys from there. Operation data, define control key. Over here, the same thing. It's the same node, but routing has relevance, and so work centers have a relevance too. We've already seen all this. Production basic data work center, general data work center. General data, front end, check work center category. Work center category. Work center categories are processing unit, personnel resource, zones, production line, for example. I select this. Field selection is 07. 07 is screen sequence, and field selection is 07. Okay. Application. Routings for production, repetitive manufacturing. Okay. Now these are work center categories that we have. Production basic data, work center, general data, define work center category. Okay. Now, production basic data work centers. Production basic data work centers, general data, define field selection. Now, what are the fields that are available to us? Basic data, basic data. And these are the fields that require input, like, for example, standard value key, transaction matrix, efficiency rate, location. We can make them required or display or hidden, okay, or highlighted. Okay. Now, there are other set of fields, like, for example, capacity. In capacity, we have control capacity, again, all input, setup capacity requirement, all input. If we start with scheduling and see that and check what scheduling has, again, like standard queue time unit, work dimension, all are input fields. Now let's go to the front end, and we have CR01 easy access. Logistics, production, master data, work centers, create. Okay, let me just pull out extras, settings, display technical names. Okay, logistics, production, master data, work centers, CR01. You can see it's CR01, easy work center, open a work center. CR01, CR02 is change, CR03 is display, and CA85 is replace. Okay, so plant. Okay, let's select a work center. Plant is KL21 KCL basic data, and we have these values. Okay, person responsible. Let's select that. Default values, wage type, wage group. We can enter these input fields, set a formula. Now, formulas, we'll discuss this as well, completely for partial, completely for final confirmation. So these formulas are basically part of your work centers. Okay, and we can enter this. Okay. What is the activity? Activity can be, cost centers can be input over here. But since this is a plant that we're not related with, so we'll just okay. That's it. Yeah. So these are different fields.